Right, it is time for the second year anniversary dialogue. Welcome magical people to Zealman's Wizarding World. It has been a while since I've done a video, just because, well, I was sick a few times and had to look after a little one, and they were ill as well, so there's a bit of illness going around, not COVID, thank God. But yeah, that kind of put the kibosh on the last vlog. So we have the second year anniversary dialogue. If you thought the event itself was lame, if you were like me and expecting a nice load of dialogue going through everything that's happened in the storyline so far, no, that is not what we got. So, intro, Constance. Hermione, can you believe it's been 2 years since the calamity started? Hermione, only 2? Feels like 20. Constance, we've been through quite a lot since the calamity began, haven't we? Investigating Grim, discovering surges can be manipulated, uncovering the existence of the unforgivable, fending off adversaries, finding a member of the London Five, recruiting Ron, working to expose a mole within the Ministry. So it appears I missed a bit of dialogue when I was recording earlier. So it's Hermione, we have so much left to do, too. Not only have we not stopped the calamity, but Grim and the London Five are still missing. The unforgivable continue to operate from the shadows, and Ron's missing most of his memories. Okay, back to past me, who somehow skipped this. Constance. True, but I have a feeling that finding the unforgivable's mole is going to be a turning point for us. Once we catch them, I'm confident things will start going our way. Okay, so the next load of dialogue basically comes from completing each of the set of tasks. There's a little bit of guesswork towards the end of this one, and there's a whole thing which I think there's a dialogue broken in game, which we'll address when we get there. Unlock 4 Portkeys, Constance. Since the start of the calamity, we've logged the number of kilometres our SOS Taskforce members have travelled. I just compiled those numbers. Our volunteers have reported travelling a combined total of 715,603,214 kilometres. That's enough to circle the Earth almost 17,859 times. Guess that depends if Adventure Sync actually works for you, huh? Harry, the lengths our volunteers would go in order to return foundables and protect the statute of secrecy is truly impressive, isn't it? Constance, I know I'll never complain about the distance from my sofa to my kitchen ever again. Visit a greenhouse 3 times. Hermione, SOS Task Force members have quite the green thumb. In fact, thanks to their volunteer efforts, an international society of herbologists have been able to establish 3,560,326 community greenhouses around the world. Constance, forget a green thumb, that's more like a whole green hand. Use master notes 7 times. Harry, I was skimming through our SOS agents' reports earlier. Did you know that they've brewed over 1 billion potions while combating the calamity? Kind of goes to show how much potions you actually need to get through this game. Constance, I'm not sure what's more surprising, that they've brewed that many potions or that Ministry record keeping is that thorough. Earn 1,500 challenge XP through wizarding challenges and or adversary chains. Constance, some run from danger but not our agents. They've explored and defeated foes in 430,467,182 fortress chambers and counting. Ooh, there's a lot of numbers. Hermione, they could round up, couldn't they? Hermione, SOS Task Force members never fail to impress, do they? Oh man, so many numbers. Alright, defeat 10 formidable foes in wizarding challenges. Constance, I've been looking through some data we collected on our SOS Task Force members. When offered combat training in a profession, 48% choose to specialise as aurors, 27% as professors, and 25% as magizoologists. It's actually quite interesting. Harry, the life of an aura is certainly a thrilling one. I can see why so many witches and wizards would be attracted to it, even with the danger. Well, being a professor sucks against adversaries, so, you know. Constance, I'm sure the opportunity to work under the famous Harry Potter doesn't hurt either. Harry, I appreciate the flattery, Constance, but I doubt I have anything to do with those stats. No, it's that professors suck. Good at sailoring, but suck at adversaries. Anyway, Constance, hogwash. Every witch and wizard has dreamed of battling evil alongside the Chosen One. I'm honestly surprised more of our volunteers aren't aurors. Return 8 apples, Dumbledore Fandables. Hermione. According to our records, SOS Task Force agents have returned almost 10 billion Fandables since the calamity began. Had they gone unaddressed, every one of those would have led to a statute of secrecy breach. I don't know, I've ignored more than my fair share of low-level Fandables. Constance, up until the incident with Muggle journalists, I thought we'd just been lucky to avoid a major incident, but now I realise that was entirely due to our volunteers' efforts. Okay, so this is the weird one. So looking in code, there's basically two things you look at. One is a script that has all the text, and one is another file that tells you who said what text. Now, there's a gap. The file that says who said what text doesn't have it, this one. Now, I know the second paragraph is Constance, because they say they're a Hufflepuff. The only one so far who is a Hufflepuff. But for the first paragraph, I'm just going to guess it's Constance. It's either Constance or Hermione, one of the two. So anyway, return 18 Ministry of Magic Valuables. Constance, just for fun, I polled our SOS members. Of those who attended Hogwarts, 41% belonged to Gryffindor, 24% belonged to Ravenclaw, 20% belonged to Slytherin, and 15% belonged to Hufflepuff. There's definitely a lot of Gryffindors floating around. Anyway, I'm gobsmacked by the lack of Hufflepuff representation. We're supposed to be diligent and hardworking. How could we let Slytherin of all houses out-engage us? So, I wouldn't be surprised if this dialogue doesn't appear in-game. So I might send a tweet out to try and catch those who don't. And if you're watching and it doesn't appear in-game for you, it'd be great if you could share the video to those who might be missing out. It's an interesting statistic. The end dialogue. Constance, you're right, Hermione. We do have a lot left to do before we can close this chapter on the Calamity and the Unforgivable for good. It's easy to look at that and get discouraged. But this anniversary has taught me to reflect every now and then on how far we have come and all the progress we have made. Have we made progress? I don't feel we made progress. We're kind of in the same place we started with, really. Hermione, well said, Constance. Everyone on the SOS Taskforce has worked hard and devoted countless hours to get to where we are now. We shouldn't lose sight of that. If there's one good thing to come out of the Calamity, it's that it's introduced us to so many talented, passionate and generous witches and wizards. I hope they never forget how much we appreciate them. Well, I wonder if that's a message from the dev team to us. Constance, agreed. I'm confident that together we will be able to see the Calamity through to the end. And that is it. So, nice sets of statistics to see who's Ravenclaw, who are Aurors and Professors, how many greenhouses we have, how many fortress battles we've done, how many Vandables we've returned, which is a redonkulous amount of Vandables we've returned. But as for a recap of the story, that is not there. So if you want a recap of the story, taskforcetimes.news has all the storyline archive, and you can just start at one place and just hop all the way through up until the present day. I am still working on articles to actually summarise what's happening in the game, except, I don't know, life is really busy right now, and it's kind of hard to get it all written up, but it's getting there. So that's it for this dialogue. Just hold on for part 2 of the Brilliant event, because that's when it really happens. Okay? This event is kind of like I'm not even sure I even bother doing it. Now I know the dialogue, I don't have to. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this event and the dialogue. I can kind of see how it's going to go. Even Expecto Go James actually had bad things to say about it, and he was disappointed, which is extraordinarily rare for James. He's usually very upbeat and hyped up for the game. I, obviously being British, English, I'm a somewhat more centered approach. Anyway, until next time, hopefully I'll be able to vlog this part 2 of the Brilliant event without dying of some random disease. So, until next time, brush up on your spells, keep your wands ready for the night.